Welcome to the team Rise and Grind, or I'm still trying to get used to our new term or name I want to call it, which is the RnG crew, Rise and Grind crew. This is Coach Chaz. For those of you watching this live call, shout out to Chelsea because we're actually starting 29 minutes late due to little baby Ty. So those of you with kids, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Moving forward, I have been consumed with the Insanity Bootcamp training series by Eric Worre. This is basically the equivalent for business what Insanity Shaun T wise is for fitness. This is balls to the wall, even the lady balls, pushing as hard as you possibly can in your business. No excuses. So for those of you who are watching the recording before, I don't even know what the exact date is that thing's going to be up, but it was put up for $1. Was it 2 days ago or yesterday? So it was put up for $1 for a 7-day trial, and it's $20 a month. It's basically like Netflix for Eric Worre trainings. And for $20 for his level of trainings, I can tell you guys it is thousands of dollars to go to those live events, and they record them and put them onto this website. So I highly recommend, if you want to build a business out of Team Beachbody, you have to do this training. There is no other training I would recommend except for this one, and then Rising Stars, which is a Beachbody specific training from Jim Rumps. But aside from that, I took some notes off of the first video. I'm not even going to touch on video 2 because if you are serious about building a business, you have to take this training. It's like I almost want to make it a requirement to be on our team because it is that good. If you want to be a professional in this industry, there is no other training but this one to get to. So moving forward, I wanted to just jump right into this thing. So my biggest takeaway out of video 1 was a specific chart that he went through and designed, and it was really powerful for me mentally because it helped me categorize myself, and it helped me understand how to categorize the team. Even customers, you can see your own customers being put into these categories. Everything kind of clicked for me with this one. So I'm going to go ahead and just explain it all the way he did it. If you watch his videos, obviously he's going to do a way better job than I will. I'm probably going to butcher it compared to what he does. But I just wanted to put it out there. If you get something out of this, great. If not, find another training, something that works for you. So we're jumping straight into it. The first thing he talks about is the 3 stages to network marketing. Stage 1 is you go from being invisible to average. That comes through recruiting. We all know what it's like to be invisible, right? You're not talked about on team calls. You're not talked about in friend groups. You're just kind of there, right? Us hermits, I came from being an extreme, not extreme, but I definitely have introvert personality traits. And I came from being, a video game addict. So I was naturally, my happiest state of being was by myself with my Xbox. I was no happier anywhere else than that. So that's what I think of when being invisible, is just somebody who is going through the daily motions of life. And you're not really putting any extra effort towards anything. And that can be your relationships, business, your fitness, your health, anything. So the first step in network marketing is when you, especially with Team Beachbody, you join, and the first thing you do is you go from being invisible to being average, and that comes through recruiting. That comes from building your team, because with building your team, you are building confidence. You are building that leadership mentality, which number 2 is going from average to a leader. And that comes from showing duplication within your team. And I can definitely relate with this right here because I personally have developed my own wording and script, if you want to call it that, and my way of communicating with people and connecting with people. I've personally practiced over and over and over with my own personal way of doing it. So I've gotten really good personally with recruiting, selling challenge packs, getting my people plugged into the system. I've gotten pretty good at that myself, but my weakness has always been, how do I teach this to the team, and how do I get people to duplicate what I've been doing if they want to do that? So I can definitely connect with being stuck between average and leader. So that's stage 2. Stage 3 is going from leader to legend. These are a legend. We all know what a legend is. A legend is somebody whose name is known. I can shout out the names Carl Deichler. Everyone know who that is, right? That's the CEO of our company. I can shout out the name Scotty Hobbs, Lindsay Matway. These are the top producing coaches in Beachbody. These are the legends within our industry. So that is the difference between being a leader and a legend. The only difference between these 3 levels or these 3 stages is the amount of work and intensity that they put into it. Because you can stay at any one of these levels as long as you want. But to get to the next one, it comes with work and intensity. And that's why I am so deeply consumed right now. I spent literally from 3 p.m. all the way up to midnight last night. I was watching trainings out of this series. And I'm so consumed by it because it is so powerful. So, I'm not going to talk anymore about that. Next up is going to be the 3 types of people within our industry. This is where the chart comes in. So I'm going to use my handy dandy whiteboard. Bear with me because I did a training, a month or 2 back where I put it up on the wall and had a tripod and stuff. I'm not going to mess with that today. 3 types of people within our industry. This is the chart that I posted on my Facebook yesterday that probably not a whole lot of people even got. It was just a bunch of scribbles. But to me, because it was explained, it totally helped me categorize myself. And it helped me mentally fine-tune how proud I am to be in that category and how much I'm going to keep pushing to stay in that category. So we're going to start off with the first type. I'm going to move this down. Get this out of the way. There we go. So, there we go. The first type of person when it comes to our industry and network marketing, direct sales, whatever you want to call it, is we're going to call this P. This is the pessimist. This is the cynic, the critic. That means that these are the people who they can get fired from a job and say, "Oh, I told you I was going to get fired." They can watch, a president step down and they can be like, "Oh, I told you that was going to happen." These are the critics. These are the negative people, right? So when it comes to these pessimists, if on a scale of 1 to 10, if on a scale of 1 to 100, do you think that they are going to achieve an 11 or a 9 more? These are the people who achieve the 9. They naturally step down and they're almost proud of it. So pessimist, in my mind, that just refers to the negative person, the person who signs up and criticizes everything rather than looking at the positives and trying to move forward. So that's step 1. These are the people who make no money. These are the people who simply, they may like the products, they may not necessarily love them, and they kind of hang around for a while, and then they always end up quitting. And they always end up saying, "Well, that Beachbody thing doesn't work. Don't do the coaching business. That doesn't work." So that's number 1. Number 2 is going to be the realist. Because of my OCD, I have to fix this. So number 2 is going to be the realist. These are the baby steppers. The realist will always set tiny little goals, and they usually achieve them, and they're going to have tiny little visions, tiny little dreams, and they're going to keep taking those tiny little steps And, you convert that to what it means in our Beachbody business. That can be one new customer a month, maybe one new coach every month or two. And they're taking these tiny little dream steps. Their big dream might be $100 a week. The realist doesn't like to dream big in fear that they are going to fail. And I'm sure we can all relate to that. So the realist is usually going to gradually over time go up and up and up. And that can mean income. That can mean how many Success Club points they can get. That can mean just how they grow as a person. That can be all different areas of life. The pessimist, the realist, and it's funny how this isn't just business. This is kind of life in general. We all know people that fall into these categories. So what is level 3? Level 3 are the visionaries. These are the people who dream big. These are the people who become top 10 coaches for a reason. These are the people who in life, they don't believe in limitations. Self-doubt does not exist. These are the people who are always talking about the big goals and the big dreams. And those big goals and big dreams are up here, right? So you look at how small of goals the pessimist sets. The realist sets slightly bigger goals, still on the small side though. A lot of that has to do with fear and self-doubt if you're stuck in this category. The visionary has this epic, almost just unimaginable goal. And the kicker is, do you know how often the visionary hits that big goal? Almost never. They rarely ever hit that big goal that they set out for. But here is what happens. If they are aiming for this high of a bar for whatever goal they set, and they only make it to here, I would say that's pretty damn impressive compared to these, wouldn't you say? Now, imagine if this visionary was thinking more like a realist. The visionary is thinking this giant epic goal. Let's say this is $100,000 in a year for income. They say, you know what? A year from now, I want to make $100,000 with Beachbody. That is a huge, just unrecognizable goal. The second you think about it, your mind is automatically going to think, there's no way you can do that. Those are the types of goals you can set for, because if you're reaching that high, chances are, even if you fall short, and let's say that falling short still puts you at $60,000, that is impressive. Compared to if this visionary, let's say that's their example, if the realist is going to shoot for $60,000 to start, that's their big goal, $60,000 in a year. But they fall short, how much do you think they're going to make? Maybe $20,000 to $30,000. That's the difference. Visionaries do not quit. Visionaries do not give up. And here's the hardest part about becoming and staying a visionary. %98 of the population lives in these two categories, which leaves 2% are the visionaries. 2% of people in the entire world are the ones who dream big, are the ones who do not give up, are the ones who are unfazed, are the ones who have a strong mentality. These are the ones who keep moving forward. If Beachbody were to completely fall apart and close, would you still keep a strong visionary mindset, find another company you believe in, and still try to pursue your dreams? Or would you quit? because most people, I'm going to take this off just because it's going to get in my way. Most people, if they are, fortunate enough to work on their mindset so much that they become a true visionary, if they become that and they realize 2% is not a big number. It's a lonely, lonely road. Most of the time you're by yourself. You are one of 50 people that are actually visionaries who are doing the work, who are dreaming big. You may be the only one on your entire team that is actually working while everyone else is sitting around doing this right here. So a lot of the times too, you're going to have these pessimists and realists looking up at the visionary goals, and they might look at this right here, this little gap of goals that you missed. They may look at those and try to point those out. Well, that's great. You made 60,000, but I thought you wanted 100, right? We all know those negative mindsets. Don't even pay attention to that. So the ones Eric Worre talks about, the saddest thing that he ever sees in the network marketing profession are the visionaries who they get tired because it's extremely difficult to remain a visionary because it is a lonely, hard road. So it's the saddest thing that he sees is when a visionary gets tired and they say, you know what, I'm going to stop pushing so hard. I'm going to stop dreaming so big. I'm just going to become a realist again. I'm going to downgrade my goals, make them more realistic. I'm going to cut back. I'm just going to take baby steps. I'm still going to try to work the business. I'm still going to try to become a better person in life, but I'm just going to take tiny little baby steps. But guess what? You have all these realists, and here's what happens is when they set these goals, right, the bar is up here. And if they fail to hit that goal, what happens next time? They lower the goal because they want to be more realistic next time. And guess what? You can only lower that goal line so much until you say, you know what? I'm just going to give up. I'm tired of putting in so much work and not seeing any result. And I'm going to fall back into this category. And this, in our world, is a discount coach. This is somebody who either has never started or has completely given up all business goals because it is hard. And they say, you know what? I'm just going to stick with the programs. I'm just going to use the products. I've made a lot of friends here, and I'm going to just stick with being a discount coach. That is what can happen. I mean, I can tell you firsthand, I've seen people go from being a visionary to a pessimist in Beachbody. And like I said, this is all stuff that Eric Worre was talking about in that video. I'm just repeating it because it is so unbelievably true. I have seen more times than I can count of people who drop back because they lose focus, they lose motivation. So when I took a picture of this last night when I was watching these trainings, I posted on Facebook. I knew nobody would understand it. It's just a bunch of gibberish if you look at the picture as a whole. But when it was explained to me like that, that's when I kind of had these mental switches again, and I started to realize, I am a visionary. Not because I'm lucky and it just turned out that way. I'm a visionary because I've been working and working and working. And I'm not talking about working in business or money or anything like that. I'm talking about I've been working on this right here. Personal development, guys. Kid you not, is the strongest, best tool you will ever have available to you in your entire life. It's personal development. Because through personal development, you can always reach more money. You can always reach more people to help. You can always reach bigger and better cars and houses and places in your life. But without personal development and growing mentally as a person, you'll always be stuck. So that's why that chart was so powerful for me, was to see everything as a whole and to be able to see the difference between a visionary, a realist, and a pessimist, and to see how easily people can drop back. Because you may have these coaches. I've been there myself. I mean, I'm not up here saying, shame on those people who are no longer like going for it. I've been there several times. We've all been there. We've all had times where we fall into a rut and we just get off track, right? Building a business sucks. Building a business, it can be so fun and rewarding, but at the same time, it can be so difficult on your mindset because you're going to go through failure. You're going to go through being rejected. You're going to go through awkward situations and being uncomfortable. Nobody enjoys that, but it's part of the journey. It's part of the process. It's the ones who can go through all of the shit and get back up and still keep doing it that reach that next level, that keep getting bigger and better and stronger. It's just like with workouts, guys. You can't show up and do 10 to 15 minute small workouts per day, putting in half-ass effort and ever see results. How do you get results out of a workout program? You hit that mother, right? You eat the right foods. You hit it with intensity. You push your body mentally and physically in your workouts. It happens through intensity and getting focused on that goal. And you don't stop until you hit that goal. And guess what happens when you hit that goal? Sure, you can take a day off, but you set a new goal and you keep going, or you fall into what Eric calls, and I love this term, it's a success coma. Why do you think so many people on The Biggest Loser shred down like 120, 140 pounds and they follow back up 6 months later and they put it all back? They fell into a success coma. They never had that next vision. They never had that next goal. It's the same thing with the business. You know, we all know several people that they hit their financial income level that they wanted, and next thing you know, they're non-existent. They disappear because they fall into a success coma. You always have to have those next visions and those next goals. And that's why I love about this category breakdown is be a visionary. Be that person who just says, you know what? Okay, I have fear. I have self-doubt. I'm not confident in some of my skills, but you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to keep going, right? You keep pushing forward. And as you guys can tell, I am freaking passionate about this stuff right now because everything Eric talked about was like, yes, finally. Everything that I've thought is finally put into words. And now we have a training series that I can put people through to show them exactly how my mindset works. I mean, a lot of people look at my Facebook and a lot of my posts may be too much for them. I do my Real Talk series and I give my long post alert. I'm usually brutal with people. I'm upfront. I tell them, you know what? If you're lazy, it's your choice. You choose where you go in life based on the work you put in and how often you do it or lack thereof. So that chart right there, guys, that for me that's a game changer. It's nothing that's groundbreaking information. It's nothing necessarily new, right? But it's laid out in a way that it clicked in my brain to where I looked at it and went, hell yes, visionary. That's where I need to keep working towards, and that's where I need to stay. Because the longer you can stay a visionary, the more you're going to achieve out of life. The more people you're going to help. Let's break it down into our world in Beachbody coaching, right? We are here to help people through our programs. How many people do you think a pessimist helps versus a visionary? We are talking like 5 to 100. 5 to 100. Can you even imagine if you're stuck in a negative pessimist attitude and mindset all day long? You're probably going to help like maybe 5 people, truly help them. But if you're a visionary and you keep chasing those big goals, guess what? To get to those big goals, you need to help a big number of people. You can't show up and half-ass your work. You have to show up and bring focused intensity. Which brings me to the last point of this call, which is going to be Eric talks about success loves speed. And when I first heard that, I'm thinking, I don't know if I've always heard, slow and steady wins the race. And I've been a coach for 6 years, and it's taken me 6 years to get to where I'm at, to where I'm able to work Beachbody full time. So of course I'm in the mentality of I've taken slow and steady and I've turned out okay. So when I heard that term, success loves speed, I thought, I don't know about that, but breaks it down. I'm going to share those bullet points with you real quick. Success loves speed for 6 different reasons. Number 1 is it's efficient and it's actually easier in the long haul. And what he means by that is if you put in, let's say you give 2 different people a 7-hour per week work frame. They have 7 hours a week to do their work. 2 different people. One person takes 1 hour a day for 7 days and does their work, right? But you flip that around and you take somebody who takes, let's say, 3.5 hours, 2 days a week. But guess what? During that 3.5 hours, blinders are on. They are focused. There's no Facebook browsing over here. There's no, oh, somebody's calling me. I'm going to sit here and scroll through my phone. Or blinders are on and they're focused. We're talking intensity. They're talking to 20, 30, 40, 50 people a day during those 3.5 hours. You take those 2 and guess which one's going to get more result out of their work? It's going to be the one with intensity. And guess what? They can take 4 days off after that. And the work they put in those 2 days is going to far outweigh the person who works 1 hour a day, 7 days a week. Focused intensity is much, much more efficient. And something he talks about in this Insanity Bootcamp, it all boils down to doing a 90-day game plan or a 90-day focused, intense, blinders on chunk of time to all out push in your business for 90 days. You work 12 to 16 hours a day. No excuses. You put in the work, and guess what? That 90 days of work, you will see rewards from that for the next year, maybe up to 5 years. And he talks about how you talk to anybody who is successful and they will all point it back to doing big pushes in their business. And that got me thinking, when was the turning point in my business? Because I went from slacking for 4 years, treating it like a hobby, to being able to replace my full-time income at the spa. How did I do that? What was the turning point? My turning point was, and I didn't realize it until I've realized it. I've talked about it before, but it's totally true what he says. All successful people can refer back to one point in time when they did a big push. And because of that big push and the momentum it built, that momentum kept building. And my point was January 1st, 2013. I've talked about this before. It was right after my Bahamas trip. A few months after that, January 1st came around. I saw the big Success Club cruise that I saw the video and I said, you know what? I'm going to take my wife on that, because I wasn't able to take her to the trip before that because we couldn't afford it. And we never had an actual honeymoon. So I saw that cruise and I said, I'm going to give her the honeymoon she deserves. And January through I busted my butt for the whole year, but I would say I really focused with intensity January through March. Guess what? About 90 days. What Eric's been talking about. I did my own version of a 90-day push without even realizing it. I just saw a goal. I really wanted it, and so I pushed for it as hard as I could. And it was those first 3 months that gave that momentum to build up my entire year. And because of 2013, I still see the benefits of some of those things that took place. One thing he talks about when it comes down to momentum is and it kind of goes hand in hand with what I just talked about with being efficient. Those 2 different people that both have 7 hours. If you are trying to push a car that's in neutral, but it's stopped, dead stop, and you're pushing a car, if you push it for just 15, 20 minutes at a time, give up, and then you come back the next day and try it again, 15, 20 minutes. Sure, it's going to scoot a little bit at a time. And sure, you may eventually reach your destination over the course of 5 or 10 years. But what if instead of doing that 7 days a week, you cut back and you actually focused for an hour, 2 hours, and you kept pushing that car? Guess what? The more you push it, the bigger the intensity. It's the same thing as a jet plane taking off. It takes a lot of push up front. But as momentum builds, eventually that thing goes on cruise control. I've talked about the airplane example several times. And he also talks about the airplane example, which I love the way, because he actually called out, he asked who was a pilot inside the crowd. And one guy stood up and said, you know, I'm a pilot. And so he's asking the pilot, what happens if your airplane, you know, you're pushing, you're on cruise control and all of a sudden, what happens if your airplane stalls in midair and you start to come down? He says, you have to put full force to get it back up. And I automatically think of all the ruts I've been in with my own health and my own, you know, physical transformation. All the times I've fallen off track and I'm picking out on junk food and I'm putting weight back on and I'm fluffing back out, getting pudgy again. All the times I've gotten back on track, I went cold turkey with everything. I hit those thrusters back on and I went full force until I got back to where I like to be. And then I put it back on cruise control. So that's what I love about this whole full force intensity mindset that he's been given. So number 2 is it's effective. It creates results. Like I just talked about, if you are giving all out focused intensity, it's efficient. It's easier in the long run because you're not just wasting energy and wasting time. Number 3 is it's exciting and fun. Think about the times that you've been on fire, or you log on to Facebook and you have like 7 to 10 messages. You have a ton of notifications and you just start going to work, right? You're replying back to people. You have people messaging back. Like that's intense focus session, right? You feel great. You feel alive. That's when you're like, yes, I'm doing this. Look at my team. Look at my people. So it's fun. It's attractive. Which is number 4. It's attractive. Intensity attracts people, right? Think about, you know, we all follow different coaches on Facebook, right? Think about all the people who are posting like, you know, every Thursday is our recognition day, right? So you think about all the people like, hey, congratulations to one of my coaches for going diamond. Congratulations to this person for paying off their student loan. That's attractive. I'm always drawn to those posts because I'm like, hell yeah, that's awesome. Think about all the people that are watching your posts. What are they thinking about it? You have the opportunity every single day when you log onto Facebook to post something that's attractive, that makes somebody stop and think, wow, I want in on that. What can you be posting about? You don't have to make, you don't have to make $1,000 a week. You don't have to do these big extravagant things to post about accomplishments. I posted, was it last Saturday? I was going over to my sister's dance competition, and it wasn't anything big, but I put on jeans that I haven't worn in a while, and they were loose. They used to be skin tight. And so I did a post that I said something about not feeling like the busted can of biscuits in my jeans anymore. And it got a lot of attention because it was attractive. It was exciting. So just small, tiny little accomplishments like that, always share it because you never know who's going to get inspired by it. Number 5 is it builds confidence and it reduces fear. Just like the comfort zone crusher challenge that I put out a few weeks back when most of us got on the ground and we laid down in public where people were around, right? It scared the crap out of all of us. It scared the crap out of me. I've never done it before. It scared the crap out of us. And then when we all did it, we all said the same thing, like, wow, that felt great. It actually was not as bad as I thought it would be. It's the same thing with all the different goals you may be thinking about. So if you are trying to work towards being a visionary, I challenge you to just simply put all your fears aside. Just say, screw it. Put them all aside. And I want you to write down just epic dreams that you have, epic goals. I have a fly buzzing around in here. I challenge you to write those down and to not let fear and self-doubt consume your mind about it. Just write them down. Seriously, $1 million in a year. Why not? Other people have done it. We were all born naked and afraid, right? We all started at zero. Why are some people making $1 million a year and some people aren't? It's the work. It's overcoming fear. It's those simple, tiny things done over time. So through adding this intensity, through talking to 20, 30, 40 people a day, that creates confidence in what you're doing, right? I've talked several times about confidence and building confidence in your skill set and that kind of stuff. But as you build your confidence, your fear goes down because they're always correlated, right? Just think about the times that you fall off track with your own health, right? Your confidence in your body comes down, and all of a sudden your fear in sharing photos and talking to people going out in public rises until you're stuck in a rut, and next thing you know, you're back in hermit mode. I've done that several times. But the better shape I get into physically and mentally, the better I feel, the more confident I am, the less fear I have. It's kind of funny how that works. It's directly correlated. Last one is it creates velocity, which refers back to building momentum, pushing that car. If you do it intensely for 90 days, you're going to build enough momentum that those 90 days, that work you put in is going to last the rest of the year. So let's say in 90 days, you recruit 50 people and you sign them all up as coaches. Realistically, are all 50 of them going to stay on? No. Realistically, out of 50 people, 60 people, you're going to have maybe 10 tops, 5 to 10 people who are actually going to stick with it. There was actually numbers given out. So he calls it the magic number. If you recruit 20 people, 12 are going to do something. 8 of them, 90 days after, 8 of them are going to be builders, or they're actively going to try to build the business. 1 year after that, 4 of them are still going to be with you, and they're going to be leaders at that point. And then, yep, that was it. So 1 year, if you recruit 20 people and you nurture them, you mentor them, you guide them, you teach them everything you know, if you do that with those 20 people, 1 year after you recruit them, you're going to have 4 that are true leaders. And guess what? 4 is almost all you need. You don't need a lot, but you do need the leaders. You need those legends. You need those visionaries. Not everyone starts as a visionary. I definitely did not start as a visionary. I started as a friggin' video game addict who ate junk food 6-7 days a week. I was far from a visionary. So it's taken time for myself to develop myself and to constantly be engaging in trainings and learning. Because I'm a big fan of, if you stop learning, you stop growing. And Beachbody aside, I think as a person, God put us on this earth because he wants us to be visionaries. He wants us to live with abundance, right? We're all put on this earth for a reason. You need to discover or create your reason and chase it. Be a friggin' lion. Do not settle for anything. Do not get distracted. If you fall off track, you start to waver over this way, squirrel. It could be a shiny new object, a new business venture. It can be family starts to happen and get in the way, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, I'm way off track. You get back on track and you keep moving forward. Oh, but I had a customer return and it took away all my Success Club points and I'm not making any money. So what? Get back on track, move forward, right? If you keep moving forward and overcome all the shit that's going to be thrown at you, you will get there. It might take a year. It might take 10 years. Who cares? If you keep moving forward, you will get it. And if it's important to you, you will keep moving forward. So aside from that, team call done. I just wanted to put that all on video because that impacted me from last night's video. This was out of 1 video, guys. There's like 9, I think 8 or 9 videos in the Insanity Bootcamp series. I'm on video 3, which I was watching right before this. I'm going to finish it now. So I plan on being up until, I don't even know, midnight, 1 in the morning tonight. As long as I can keep my eyes open tonight, I'm going to be engaging in this training. So if you are watching this recording, just like I said in the beginning, if you want to build a business, if you want to be that Beachbody coach who is making money while helping people and doing everything that you see these top coaches doing and flying out to places and traveling and bringing your spouse home, being able to gift items and merchandise and money away to people. Like me personally, me and Trista always talk about this. I really, really, really want to be able to go to grocery stores and just kind of hang out by the registers and wait for that family that comes through and has a couple $100s worth of groceries. And I want to be able just to slip them a couple $100 bills and walk away. I would love that. That would, I don't know why, but that would be so friggin' rewarding for me. So that's the kind of stuff that you can do once you develop the financial freedoms. You can give freely. Think about the impact if somebody just walked out and paid for your entire grocery cart if you had a family. I mean, that would be so powerful. That would just be awesome. These are the types of things that, I mean, set those as goals. That's a big goal of mine, is to do that. And that's something I'm working towards. Right now, I can give away, 20, maybe 50 tops. And, it's a little bit of playroom I have, but it's something that I get joy out of by helping other people, financially, by just, give them a $20 or $50 bill, whether it be in the grocery line. If you have a waitress or a waiter that just kicked ass, we all know that those people earn their living off their tips. Give them a $20 bill. Do something that, $20 to them is going to be amazing, because Trista used to be a server for a few years, so she knows. Every time we go out to eat, she's like, you need to tip that one really good. Not just $3 or $4, which is like their average. So anyways, getting off track now. The whole thing with this is, if you want to be on that level where you can do that kind of stuff and live completely free financially and time-wise, you need to do this training. I am putting together, I haven't even looked at dates, but I want to put together a 90-day game plan, which is this is all based on, is doing that 90-day focused intensity for 3 months. We're talking, you give up sleep, you give up TV, you give up going out to dinners, you give up everything. You're not going to have a life for 90 days. But because of that work you put in for 90 days, you will see rewards from that for up to a year, maybe 2 years. That 90-day push is something that can literally alter your entire business. You could be making 6 figures a year because of this 90 days. So I want to put together a focused group for that, which is probably, let's start at March 30th. That's just a few days away from April, but it's a Monday. I like starting stuff on Mondays. So I'll put it out there. I'll put it in the team group too. I'll do a separate post, but 90-day game plan, guys. Focused intensity. This is going to be like none other. I never thought I would be so excited to have no life, but because of giving up my life right now, I'm just going to repeat what Dave Ramsey talks about. Dave Ramsey is one of my favorite Christian financial gurus. Tons of books out there. Total Money Makeover. Highly recommend it. If you have budgeting issues, Dave Ramsey is excellent at teaching you everything about money and budgeting and paying off debt and all this stuff. So he says, live like no one else, so later you can live like no one else. And that can mean different things to different people. So I look at this 90 days, you need to live like no one else, meaning you're going to be the crazy one. You're going to be the weird one. You're going to be the one that's not fitting the mold. Who goes out and talks to 20, 30, 40 people a day? Who does that? The crazy people, the visionaries. If you live like no one else, meaning if you decline all the extra going out to dinners, going out to the bars, going out and doing stuff, doing all your hobbies, if you give that up, meaning you are living like no one else, you're living like your blinders on, no one comes near you, guess what? Because of that 90 days, later on, you can live like no one else. You can pay off all your debts. You can give away money at the grocery stores. You can take your family out on these vacations when you want. That's living like no one else. And it's easy for us to look at those people who are doing it now and say, wow, I wish I can do that. Look at them. But they are doing it now because they once lived like no one else. They put in their work. That's why they're there. I'm putting in my work now so I can be there 90 days from now, a year from now, 10 years from now. I'm proud to call myself a visionary. I am hoping that each of you can understand which category you fall into under these three. And if you are in the pessimist or the realist category, there's no reason why you can't become that visionary. It's just going to take work and time and consistency, but you can get there. Aside from that, peace out, crew. This has been Coach Chaz. I appreciate you guys hopping on the call with me. I'll see you later.